Hey there everyone, welcome along to another video here with me, Jennifer Kirk. It's really good to see you all, and today we've got a review of a couple of products that I've been sent to take a closer look at, and these are from Accurascale. You might remember that we reviewed the HUO wagons from their stable, and I was really impressed with those, so I'm really looking forward to being able to see what some of their other range looks like. And so without further ado, let's take a closer look. What we've got here is the Accurascale bulk cement wagons, and these are coded under tops as PCV or pre-tops. They're I think it's Cemflo or Cemflo. Well, it's cement. I'm not entirely sure, to be honest with you. But what I really like about Accurascale is that they're bringing models to the market ready to run that fill gaps that have so far never been touched by any other manufacturer. And whereas some other manufacturers have chosen to go head-to-head with an existing model, Accurascale are setting their sights on putting out these models of prototypes that might otherwise be being ignored. Now, the boxes of these, they're fairly similar to the HUOs that we reviewed before. We've got the plastic sleeve just to protect it from dings and stuff. But the actual box itself, it oozes quality. And you might be thinking, why are we interested in the box? Well, I believe that the entire package shows you the care and attention that's gone into a model. And these boxes are very much akin to how Helgen or Dapol have been packaging their locomotives. And for me, it kind of says that Accurascale are proud of these models. They want them to arrive with you in one piece, and the whole package, even down to we've got a very comprehensive history of the wagons with pictures, I think is just a wonderful package that exudes confidence that this is a really good model. Now, I'm looking a little bit here at the history, and there's actually quite a lot of these. 285 built between 1961 and 1965, built in two different lots, both coded PCV. And the wagons that Accurascale have produced, they were the later batch manufactured by Metropolitan Camel, and they were used on specific flows. The paper leaflet here gives you quite a bit of detail about the history of the wagons, the flows that they worked on. They were quite wide-ranging, and also it draws note that one of the workings would have seen Southern Region Class 33s run quite far actually into other territories. So in terms of providing an excuse for those people who like to keep prototypically accurate, it does show that these wagons give an excuse to have those inter-region workings. Now, I've opened this one first. This is the later wagon, and I'm going to open the other one as well, because what I actually want to do is start with the first iteration of the livery of these wagons. As you can see, they all come with the same comprehensive leaflet in there. I'm going to move these boxes out of the way, and inside we see pretty much the same style of packaging that we saw on the HUO hoppers, although these come as single pack wagons. I do quite like the inserts are fairly easy to get the wagons in and out of without any kind of damage. Unlike the HUOs, with these we get a little packet of extra 3-link couplings, and they feel like a very, very fine metal item. So we get 2 there per wagon to add, although I don't think these are compatible with the tension lock couplings, so it's an either or thing. But these do look pretty good, and I suspect that they are strong enough to be able to use these as standalone 3-link couplings, if that's the way that you want to go, or if you're just displaying these in a display cabinet. It's also the case that if you're making up a rake of these wagons, you could feasibly, within that rake, couple the wagon semi-permanently using the 3-link couplings to get that little bit of extra prototypical accuracy. Let's just lift this out, and the first thing that strikes me is the colouring on these wagons. This sort of metallic silver colour is it's actually very reminiscent of the Hornby 00 Traffic Services wagon that I remember having as a child, and it's reproduced really, really well. Again, like the HUO, it's a wagon which looks like it's crying out for a really good weathering, just to bring out and accentuate some of this detail. But out of the box, the X-Works wagon really does look very smart indeed. We've got the little roundel on here for Blue Circle bulk cement. Reminds me a little bit of the press flow cements that Bachmann brought out some time ago, but we've got that as a separately applied piece to give this lovely raised effect on here. And the colouring on this is really crisply done, and it really does make these wagons look something much more special than their workaday, mundane, utilitarian look might otherwise suggest. The chassis detail on this is really, really nice, and I'm looking there. The chassis appears to be made up of separate detail parts, so that we can get this three-dimensional effect where this cutaway front and then the main sole bar behind. And that's an area where a lot of weathering would really bring out this detail, and I do like that. That three-dimensional effect, they could have done that with just a representation on a single moulded piece, but what they've chosen to do is to do it with a separate piece on there, and that gives the full 3D effect. We've also got a lot of rivet detail on there. Again, that's something that a wash of dirt would really bring out and accentuate. But it is, you know, the silver colour on here does bring them out, but I think a weathering wash would really benefit that. We've got some pipe work on here. It appears to be, I'm not sure actually, that may actually be metal, but it's one of the things that I thought about the HUO wagons. The actual pipework details on these is very, very robust. Hand wheels too, very, very robust. You don't get this rain of bits and pieces as you handle them that some other manufacturers' rolling stock and locomotives do. I'm really pleased with that. I like these things to stand up to a bit of handling. And what Accurascale is showing here is that you can have that finesse of detail without compromising the integrity. On the front face of the wagon here, we've got fully sprung buffers. Again, that's a trademark of the Accurascale rolling stock, and it's really nicely done. These buffers are very robustly in there. They're not going to just fall apart. Spring-loaded. Really, really nice. And again, we've got that rivet detail brought out on the chassis, and it really does look nice. We've got, I'm assuming that these might be something to do with the vacuum braking system, or at least a kind of air unloading system that would have helped to get the powder in and out of these wagons. I'm not entirely sure, but it is in there. It's a separately applied moulding, and it is really nicely done. Again, solidly applied. It's not going to just fall out at leisure. We've also got this kind of this circular shape. I don't think it's fully circular. It does appear to have this kind of, well, there's ribs down the side actually. I'm going to show you those. It's got these ribs that are really nicely flush fitted, and they give this kind of double radius. So you've got this this tumble home of the bottom of the wagon, but then you've got these ribs following what appears to be the fully circular radius of the top half of the hopper itself. They are really nicely done. I'm not seeing anything in the way of angry big gaps in the mouldings. Everything fits together nice and crisply. The other end of the wagon is prototypically different, and we can see in there a lot more of the detailing and the ribs, and again that riveting detail really nicely presented. On the top of the wagon, we've got these two inspection stroke loading hatches and a representation of a walkway in between. I'm just looking, in fact, yeah, the walkway itself is again another finely applied separate item, and you can see right through that. There's air visible all the way through. It's not just part of the moulding, and it really shows the attention to detail that's gone on with this wagon. Turning to the underside, we've got a fully factory assembled brake rigging gear in there, plus also the underside of the hopper and the discharge mechanism. It's all nicely done, it's all there. And straight out of the box, it's really nice and clean. And I think weathering, as you saw on the HUO hoppers, really brings out this detail. Accurascale have gone above and beyond the call of duty, and this really is exquisite. Now, I know we've seen from some of the Bachmann wagons this brake rigging that comes as a user-replyable parts, but here Accurascale have saved you all of that bother. It's all ready applied to the wagon. As I said before, the only things that you need to apply, should you choose, are these 3-link couplings, but as it comes from the box, the couplings themselves are in these unobtrusive NEM pockets, and if you look at the way it's been cleverly incorporated into the brake stretchers there, it's something that if you don't want to use these, if you say you want to use the 3-link couplings, you can completely and neatly remove these couplings without it looking obvious that you've done that, or without needing for you to carve out chunks of the chassis to make it look prototypical. And that is the attention to detail and the clever design that I really think Accurascale are bringing to the market really well. In terms of other detailing, I'm just looking at the tempo printing on the wagon. We've got the little lozenges for the discharge levers. We've got a works plate there, which, yeah, I can just about read what it says on these. And we've got some lettering, very crisply done on the actual hopper body. I do like this silver. Silver is one of those colours that in model form, when actually what you're doing is you're painting plastic to look like metal, it's very difficult to do, but Accurascale do seem to have pulled this off really well. Well, I want to turn to the second wagon that I've been sent to give my appraisal over, and this is the wagon slightly later on in life, so at the point that it's acquired. Overhead warning flashes, as you can see there, and also the TOPS wagon code of PCV. Now, as you remember from my What Do the TOPS wagon codes actually mean video, PCV, the P means that it's a private owner wagon. It was owned by somebody other than British Rail. C for the cement wagon, and V, this wagon has vacuum brakes. So we've also got a bit of other information on there, the non-pool, the stenciled on wagon number, and this wagon in this guise would be good for probably 1972, 1974 onwards. Now these wagons did last through into the later part of the 1980s, so there's a long period that you'd be able to run these wagons in this form. And of course, during the crossover period, you'd be able to mix and match between the earlier and the later liveries, because they weren't all just sort of done overnight on the same day. On this wagon, we've got quite a lot of subtle differences on the livery. We've got different markings there on the wagon sole bar. We've still got this exquisite sort of 2-layer detailing effect on these ribs on the chassis. It is really nicely done. And you can see on the ends we've got prototypically the outer layer is done in black, whilst the inner layer has still got that silver. There's no signs of overspray through these holes. It's been thoughtfully painted before assembly in such a way that it really does look just like the real thing. Turning to the underside, there's not a lot of detail differences, if any at all, between this and the earlier wagon. Got all of that exquisite brake detail in there and this unloading mechanism. I'm going to turn it to its side there just so you can see in there. That is actually quite a fine little casting there, or injection moulding. I'm not entirely sure. It actually feels strong enough that it could be made of metal, but it's really nice and it's firmly attached. It's not going to just fall out somewhere on your track. That is really well done. I'm struggling to find any point on here that I can point to and say, actually there's room for improvement there. The only thing that I could be, if I was being really picky, say, is that the brake blocks don't line up with the wheel treads. But I was put to rights over this after I did the HUO wagon review, and it was pointed out to me that actually these wagons have been very thoughtfully designed, that if you want to model in P4 or EM, there is space in there for you to push out the wheels or refit different wheels. And actually, those brake blocks are perfectly in scale. They will line up with P4 wheels. And actually, that's quite a nice touch in a way. It doesn't really detract from using this wagon in 00, but it does mean that anybody wanting to model an EM or P4 is not hindered if they want to use this wagon. So overall score, I have to say, with this wagon, Accurascale have brought to the market another high quality model, and everything about this exudes a great deal of thought has gone into every aspect of its design, even down to the really substantial, well-built boxes. And that says to me, as I said at the start, this is a product that Accurascale are quite rightly proud of. There is nothing that I can find that's a detraction on this model. It fits a niche in the ready-to-run market so perfectly. And this is what I suppose I like the best about Accurascale, is that they're not going head-to-head with their rolling stock with other manufacturers. They're providing wagons that complement rather than compete. And I think, really, with nothing to find fault with, I'm going to have to call it a 10 out of 10. If I can't find anything to fault, then people tell me off if I then give it something lower than that. So I can well recommend this model and the other livery variants that Accurascale has brought to the market. And I'm looking forward to seeing what's next. What are they going to bring next to the market? Because if this model and the previous model is anything to go by, it really will be exquisite. Well, I hope that was really informative to you. It's been really great to have your company, and I'm sure that you'll agree with me that they're pretty good wagons. Until next time, this is me, Jenny Kirk, saying don't forget to like this video, share it too, and also subscribe to the channel, and you'll be the first to know about new videos as and when they go up. But until next time, thanks for watching, and you take really good care of yourself. Bye for now. Today's video has been brought to you in part thanks to the generous donation of my fans on Patreon. And an extra special huge thanks goes out to Anthony Kidson, Michael Churchwood, Bob Threeton, Alec Ralph, Anthony Hunt, William Wade, Wayne Johns, Offshore Allen, and oorail.co.uk. If you'd like to help support the show, head on over to patreon.com/Jennifer Kirk. Thank you. Today's video has been brought to you by my books, Bringing Home the Stars, Twinkle Little Star, and also you can get the complete comic collections of All Over the House, Books 1, Books 2, and also the wacky zany Life of Knobty Mouse. Thanks, and catch you later.